Hello everyone and welcome to today's lecture. And today we'll be discussing the chapter Animal Kingdom. So we'll discuss the theory, we'll discuss some of the phylums which are included under the animal kingdom. So this is the part 4 of the lecture. Before starting this lecture, I just want to give you one information that the images, text and other materials used in the presentations are for education purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners. If you are the owner and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathee@itk.ac.in and we shall remove the content immediately. Please note that parts of the content may have been generated using generative AI, which is experimental. So, what are the objectives of today's session? Okay, what we will understand, what we will learn in today's session. So, first of all, we'll be talking about the characteristic features of the Phylum Mollusca. Okay, so some of the features are like soft body, mantle and shell. We'll discuss about these features which are unique to the animals belonging to the Phylum Mollusca. Then we'll talk about Echinodermata. So they have some of their unique characteristics like pentaradial symmetry and they have water vascular systems. So these characters, they are unique. These features, they are unique to Echinodermata. Then we'll talk about Hemichordata. Okay, and hemichordates, they have some unique features like they have stomochord. Instead of notochord, they have stomochord. So they were earlier placed in chordates, now they are placed in as a separate phylum under the non-chordata. Okay, clear? Then we'll talk about stomochord and gill slits. So these are the features of the hemichordata. All right. So first of all, we'll talk about the phylum Mollusca, which include your phyla, which is snail. Okay, then we'll talk about the examples of other phylums, Echinodermata and Hemichordata. Now, we'll talk about their body organization. So, body organization, what do you understand by body organization? So, the body can be cellular, it can be tissue at tissue level, then organ, and then organ system. So, this is the body organization. Okay, so the cells, they are made up of the living organisms, they are made up of cells. Cell is the structure and functional unit of the life. Then cells, they combine to form tissues. Okay, then tissues, they combine to form organs, and then organ, they form the organ system. So we will compare their body organization, whether they are at tissue level, organ level, or they have organ system. Then we'll talk about how they feed, how they respire. Do they have some special kind of structures which help in feeding, which help in excretion, which help in respiration? We'll also talk about the locomotion in these phylums. Clear? Now, then we will understand the evolutionary relationship and ecological roles of these organisms in the marine ecosystem. So these are the objective of today's session. So first of all, we are talking about the classification of animals. Within classification of animals, we'll talk about phylum Mollusca first. We'll talk about phylum Echinodermata, and we'll be also talking about the phylum Hemichordata. Then we will summarize its entire lecture, and in the end, we'll also discuss the DPP related to these topic. Now let's begin with this lecture. We'll start about the phylum Mollusca now. So first of all, this is very important here. This is the second largest animal phylum. Okay, largest animal phylum is phylum Arthropoda, which includes all the insects. Clear? So this phylum Mollusca, this is the second largest animal phylum, only below the phylum Arthropoda, which includes the insects. Okay. Or you can also say this is the largest marine, second largest marine animal phylum. Okay. Now mollusk, they can be terrestrial, they can be aquatic also. If they are aquatic, they can be marine or they can be freshwater also. Okay, they have an organ system level of organization. So mollusks, where we're talking about their habitat, the environment where they live. So they are terrestrial. They can live on land. They are aquatic, means they can live in water. They are marine, means they can live in salty water also, like sea and oceans. These are marine water. Then they can live in fresh water. And they have an organ system of organization, means they have different organ systems like digestive system, circulatory system. These are all organ systems. Okay. So like circulatory system, this will consist of heart and the blood vessels. Okay, this is involved in the circulation of the blood. Blood is very important. Okay, it carries all the nutrients and the oxygen with it. It also carries the waste product with it also. Okay, then they have digestive system, which helps in the digestion of the food. They have reproductive system also. So they have organ system level of the organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical. They are triploblastic and coelomate animals. So these are the characteristic feature of the phylum mollusk. They are bilaterally symmetrical. What does this mean? So this means their body can be divided into symmetrical halves. Okay. Or in other words, you can say that two, you can say copies, left and right. Okay. The body can be divided into two halves, left and right. And these two are mirror images of each other. You can say in this way also, or you can say the body can be divided into two symmetrical halves. These two halves are exactly similar to each other. They are mirror images of each other. Then they are triploblastic. What do you mean by triploblastic? Okay. So when an organism develops from 3 germ layers, this is known as triploblastic. Okay. So the animals belonging to phylum Mollusca, they are triploblastic. So what are the 3 germ layers? Ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. These are the 3 germ layers. Okay. So they are triploblastic. Then they are coelomate animals. So they have a true coelom, means the coelom is surrounded by the mesoderm. This is known as the coelomate organism. They have coelom. So they have a cavity which is surrounded by the mesoderm. Okay, they have a true coelom. Okay, that means body cavity lined by the mesoderm. Now the body is covered by calcareous shell. This is again a characteristic feature, and it is unsegmented. There are no segments, and they have a distinct head, muscular foot, and visceral hump. Okay. So we are talking about the body of the mollusk. So first of all, this is a characteristic feature. It is covered by a calcareous shell. Then the body is divided into head, muscular foot, and visceral hump. Now, what is this visceral hump? Okay, so this visceral hump, this is soft spongy layer of tissues covering the internal organ. So visceral word, this is related to the internal organs. Okay, you have visceral organs also. In humans, they have visceral organs also. Visceral organs means internal organs. Clear? Like example, you can give phyla, which is snail. This example of mollusk. Okay, they have this head, muscular foot, and visceral hump. This muscular foot, with the help of the muscular foot, the snail can walk. Clear? And visceral hump I have already explained you. It is a soft spongy layer of tissues covering the internal organs. So these are the examples you can see of the mollusk. First one is the phyla, which is known as the apple snail. Then you can see this is octopus. This is also a mollusk. Clear? Now, a soft and spongy layer of skin forms the mantle over the visceral hump. Now, the space between the hump and the mantle, this is known as the mantle cavity in which feather-like gills are present. So again, this is very important line here. Okay, so they can ask you where are the gills present. So first of all, gills are feather-like, and these are present where? So they are present in the mantle cavity. And what is mantle cavity? Space between the hump and the mantle. This is mantle cavity in which the feather-like gills are present. Now, what is the role of the gills? Okay, so these gills have two roles. They have respiratory and then they have the excretory functions. Okay, remember this. These gills have respiration and they have excretory function as well. So respiratory function means they help in the exchange of the gases. And excretory functions means they also help in the removal of the nitrogenous wastes, the toxins from the body. So they have dual functions here. So this is also a characteristic feature here. Remember this. Now the anterior head region has sensory tentacles. Okay, you can underline this. So what is the role of tentacles now? Why tentacles are present? So these tentacles, they help in detecting the environment and they also help in finding the food. Clear? So they have certain kind of cells in them, these tentacles, and they can detect the stimulus in the environment. And they also help in finding the food. Now the mouth contains a file-like raspic organ for feeding called as radula. So radula is also a characteristic feature of mollusk. Okay, this radula helps in feeding. So these mollusks, they have a special structure which help in feeding, and this is known as the radula. Now they are usually dioecious and oviparous and with indirect development. So what do you mean by dioecious? So dioecious means that they have separate sex. Male and the female sexes are separate. This is a dioecious organism. So they are dioecious. They are oviparous means they lay eggs. Okay, like humans, mammals, they are viviparous. They give birth to young ones. These mollusks, they are oviparous. They lay eggs. And the development is indirect. Now, what do you mean by indirect development? Indirect development means they will form a larva. Okay, and this larva will then develop into the adult. So this is known as the indirect development. So larva is formed first and then it develops further to form the adult. Correct? Examples are phyla, which is known as the apple snail, then pigdata, which is known as the pearl oyster, then sepia, which is known as the cuttlefish, loligo, which is known as squid, octopus, which is also known as devilfish, aplysia, which is known as the sea hare, tendalium, which is known as tusk shell, Chaetoplura, which is known as the chiton. So you should remember some of the examples of mollusk. You should remember the scientific name also, and you should remember the common name also. So common name is given in the brackets and the scientific name is also given here. Okay, so these are the examples we've already seen, phyla, and this is the octopus. Let's talk about Phylum Echinodermata now. So these animals have an endoskeleton. of calcareous ossicles. Clear? And hence the name Echinodermata, which means spiny bodied. So they have calcareous ossicles. This is the characteristic feature. So this endoskeleton is made up of calcareous ossicles. Calcareous ossicles, they form the spiny surfaces. That's why they are spiny bodied. And that's why the name Echinodermata means spiny bodied. All are marine, means they live in sea or oceans. They live in salty waters. Okay, clear? All are marine with organ system level of organization. So organ system level of organization means what? Again means they have organ system in them. So these are respiratory organs. Okay, respiratory system, you can say circulatory system, you can say. Okay, excretory system. Clear? So like mollusca also, or like mollusk also, echinoderms, they also have organ system level of organization. Clear? Now the adult echinoderms are radially symmetrical, but larvae are bilaterally symmetrical. So again, this is a characteristic feature of the echinodermata. Okay, the adult form is radially symmetrical. Okay, what do you mean by radial symmetry? So when the body can be divided into equal halves by any plane passing through the central axis, this is known as the radial symmetry. Okay, clear? So like you can take the example of starfish also. They show radial symmetry. Okay, so here the body can be divided into two equal halves by any plane passing through the central axis. So if it pass through the central axis, but the larvae are bilaterally symmetrical, means their body can be divided into two halves. These two halves will be symmetrical to each other, means suppose left and right half, and these two halves are mirror images of each other. So you should remember this is the characteristic feature here. Clear? They are triploblastic and coelomate animals again. Triploblastic means they develop from the three germ layers. And coelomate animals means they have a true coelom, and means the body cavity is lined by the mesoderm. Okay. So you can see these are examples of echinodermata. This is Asterias and Ophiuria. They have radial symmetry. The adult form has radial symmetry. So their body can be divided into two equal halves by any plane passing through the central axis. So this is the central axis. Okay. So their body can be divided into two halves. Okay. By any plane which is passing through the central axis. So you will pass the line through the central axis. They are also known as pentaradial. Okay. Clear? So they have these 5 digits. So they are also known as pentaradial. Okay. Clear? So like this. So they are pentaradial. This shows that they are pentaradial. Their body can be divided into two halves by a plane passing through the central axis. Similarly here also. The digestive system is complete with mouth on the lower side means ventral side, and anus is present on the dorsal side means on the upper side. Now the most distinctive feature means most characteristic feature, most unique feature of echinoderms is the presence of the water vascular system. Okay, and this water vascular systems helps in the locomotion. It helps to capture and transport of the food, and it helps in the respiration also. So you can see here this water vascular system is doing a lot of functions here. It is involved in locomotion also. Okay, it provides motility. It helps in the capture and transport of the food also. Because when the water enters the body, then along with the water, food also enters. Okay, then it also helps in the respiration, means exchange of the gases. So what is this water vascular system? It is a network of fluid-filled canals and chambers that facilitate the locomotion. Okay, it also helps in the capture and transport of the food. It also helps in respiration, and also you can add here, it also helps in the removal of the waste, means it also helps in the excretion. So you can see water vasculature system is very important here. It is doing almost all functions: respiration, excretion, transport, capture and transport of the food, as well as locomotion. So there are some canals which are present within these echinoderms. So these canals, they are filled with this water. These are filled with the fluid. Okay, and this fluid is helping in the exchange of gases also. Okay, along with the water, the food also comes and helps in the locomotion also. Now excretory system is absent here. So how they are doing excretion? With the help of the water vascular system. Okay, means that there is a removal of the toxin, the removal of the nitrogenous waste using this water vascular system. Sexes are separate, means they are dioecious, and reproduction is sexual. So they reproduce sexually. In sexual reproduction, what happens? What are the characteristic features of sexual reproduction? Two parents involved. Okay, biparental condition, male and female is involved. Okay, then they will produce gametes by meiosis. Okay, then there will be fertilization, means fusion of the male and the female gamete. Okay, after fertilization, zygote is formed and then embryo is formed. So echinoderms, they reproduce sexually. Fertilization is usually external. What do you mean by external fertilization? So fertilization can be internal or it can be external. So external fertilization means that the sperm and the egg, mean the male and the female gamete, they are released in the water and the fertilization takes place in the water. So this is known as external fertilization. So in humans, the fertilization is internal. Okay, the male and the female gamete, they fuse with each other in the female body, in the fallopian tube. So this is known as internal fertilization. But here in Echinodermata, the fertilization is external. Development is indirect and free swimming larva is observed here. So again, the development is indirect here. Means there is a formation of larva. Clear? Examples are Asterias, which is starfish, Echinus, which is sea urchin, Antidon, which is sea lily, Cucumaria, which is sea cucumber, and Ophiuria, which is brittle star. So again, you should remember the examples of echinoderms. These are the scientific names and the common name is given in the bracket. Okay, so these examples we have already discussed. These are the examples of echinoderms. This is starfish and this is Ophiuria. Okay, which is known as the brittle star. They have radial symmetry. So they are pentaradial. Okay, clear? So this is how pentaradial look like. The body can be divided into two equal halves. Okay, by passing a line through the central axis. Now let's talk about hemichordata. So what is unique about hemichordata now? So hemichordata was earlier placed in chordates. Now it is placed in non-chordates. So Hemichordata was earlier considered as a subphylum under phylum Chordata. Okay, but now it is placed as a separate phylum under the non-chordates. So what is the difference between chordates and non-chordates? So these chordates, they have a notochord. Okay, what is notochord? It is a longitudinal flexible rod of cells. And then they have dorsal hollow nerve cords. These are the characteristic feature of the members belonging to the phylum Chordata. Now what are the characteristic feature of members belonging to non-chordata? So these non-chordata, they don't have a notochord. Okay, and they have a ventral solid nerve cord instead of dorsal hollow nerve cord. So now hemichordata, they are placed under non-chordata. So they don't have a notochord now. So hemichordates have a rudimentary structure in the collar region called the stomochord. So instead of notochord, they have stomochord. Remember this term. So this stomochord is a structure similar to the notochord. So notochord is present in the members of the phylum Chordata. What is notochord? It is longitudinal flexible rod of cells. Okay, instead of notochordata, notochord, stomochord is present. Now this phylum consists of small group of worm-like marine animals with oxygen organ system level of the organization. Okay, remember this. So they are worm-like marine animals. Marine animals again means they can live in sea and they can live in oceans also. They live in salty water. Then they have organ system of level of organization means they have the organ system like circulatory system, okay, digestive system, respiratory system. Clear? Now they are bilaterally symmetrical, typhloplastic and coelomate. So they are also bilaterally symmetrical. Means their body can be divided into two equal halves. Okay. Then they are triploblastic again, and they are coelomate animals, means they have a body cavity lined by the mesoderm. Now the body is cylindrical and composed of an anterior proboscis, a collar and a long trunk. So you should remember this. Their body is cylindrical and is composed of anterior proboscis. Now what is anterior proboscis? First of all, so these anterior proboscis, they are fleshy, they are elongated structures at the front of the body. Okay, and they are used for feeding and burrowing. So what are these anterior proboscis? They are present in the front of the body. They are fleshy, they are elongated structures. And what is the role? They help in the feeding and burrowing. Then next one is the collar. So what is collar? So it is again, this is a short cylindrical region situated between the proboscis and the trunk. So collar is a region which is present between the proboscis and the trunk. And what is the role of this collar? This region, which is known as the collar, this is primary for sensory and the locomotion function. Okay, it can sense the environment. It also helps in the locomotion function. Then there is a long trunk, which is the main body. So this long trunk is basically the main body where the different organ systems are present, such as digestive system, respiratory system and reproductive systems. These are all present in this long trunk. That's why this long trunk is known as the main body. It is the main body. Clear? So these hemichordates, they also have organ system level of organizations. All the organs are present in the long trunk, which forms the main body. Then you can see example is Balanoglossus. So they have a proboscis which is present in the front. This helps in the feeding and the burrowing. Then they have the collar, which is present between the proboscis and the trunk. This collar helps in the sensation. Okay, and the locomotion, they have sensory and locomotion function. Then this trunk, this is the main body. Here all the organ systems are present. Now circulatory system is of open type here. So what is open type of circulatory system? So a circulatory system where the blood is not flowing in the blood vessels. Okay, blood is usually flowing in arteries and the veins in the closed system, like in humans. They have closed circulatory system where the blood flows in the blood vessels. Okay, but they have the open circulatory system. Means the blood is flowing through the sinuses and the body cavities rather than being confined to the blood vessels. Okay, so this is known as open type, where the blood is not flowing in the blood vessels, but they are flowing in the sinuses and the body cavities. Blood is flowing in the body cavities and sinuses instead of the blood vessels. Okay, respiration takes place through gills. So respiration basically occurs through the phalangeal gill slits. Okay. Now excretory organs is proboscis gland. Okay, so this is proboscis gland helps in the excretion, means removal of the nitrogenous waste, removal of the toxic substances. Clear? So they have a circulatory system, hemichordates. They have an open circulatory system where blood is flowing in the body cavities. Okay. Where respiration is happening to the pharyngeal gill slits. Okay. So these slits are very unique. Excretion is happening to the proboscis gland. Proboscis gland is the primary excretory organ in the hemichordates. Remember this. Proboscis is the primary excretory organ in the hemichordates. Okay. And this is responsible for removing the waste products, nitrogenous waste product, the toxins, and also helps to maintain the internal environment. Then let's talk about the sex in the hemichordata. They have different sexes. Okay, they have separate sexes. Means they have a distinct male and the female reproductive organs. Okay, so sexes are separate. Okay, they have separate male and the female reproductive organs. So they are dioecious. Fertilization is external here. Means the male and the female gamete, they are released in the water and the fertilization takes place in the water. Okay, what is you mean by fertilization? Fertilization means the fusion of the male and the female gametes. Development is indirect again. Okay. Then examples are belanoglossus and sacoglossus. So this we have already discussed. This is very important example of hemichordate. You should remember this example. Belanoglossus. Another example is sacoglossus. Okay, so let's summarize this entire lecture now. So we have talked about the three phyla: Mollusca, Echinodermata and Hemichordata. So these represents diverse group of animals with distinct characteristics. Okay. Now mollusca or mollusk, they are soft-bodied animals. So this is a typical feature. And their soft body is typically protected by a shell. And they have, what are the examples? Snails. Okay. Clams and octopuses. Octopuses is also example of the mollusk. And octopus, okay, or you can say mollusk, they are oviparous. They lay eggs. Octopus also, they lay egg. Okay. So octopus, during sexual reproduction, they lay eggs. They don't give birth to the young ones. Clear? So octopuses, they lay eggs and they do not give birth. The female octopus lays thousands of eggs. Okay, so they are oviparous, they lay eggs. Now, echinoderms are marine animals with 5-part radial symmetry. So, okay, so they are pentaradial. This is known as 5-part radial symmetry. For example, in starfish. Okay, examples are starfish and sea urchins. So these are the two very important examples of echinoderms. Let's talk about hemichordates. Hemichordates are marine. They are worm-like animals that share some characteristic with the chordates. That's why they were early placed in chordates. Now they are placed in non-chordate. Okay, so they have some characteristics similar to chordate. That's why they serve as an evolutionary link between invertebrates and the vertebrates. Okay, vertebrates, they have a vertebral column. Invertebrates, they don't have a vertebral column. Now, what is the most distinctive feature of hemichordates? Okay, so they have a most distinctive feature being the 3-part body plan consisting of proboscis, collar, and the trunk. So they have the proboscis, which helps in the feeding also. Okay, it is present in the front. Then they have a collar which is present between proboscis and the trunk. The collar, this has sensory and locomotion capabilities. Then trunk, this is the main part of the body where all these organ systems are present. Okay, this is clear. So this was the end of the theory now. I hope this theory was quite knowledgeable for you. Now we start with the DPP, which are related to these phylums. Okay. Okay, now let's start with the DPP now. So what is the first question here? Now, which of the following characters stands true for antedon? So they are talking about the antedon. So what of the characters this stands true for antedon? What is the unique features of antedon? So what are the options here? Spiny bodied and tissue level of organizations, means they have tissues. Okay, tissue, they are the collection of cells. Okay, performing same functions. Now next one is mouth on the dorsal side and anus on the ventral side. Then next one is exclusively marine and trifloblastic. So they are saying exclusively marine here, and trifloblastic means their body is made up of 3 germ layers: ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. The next one is they have a pseudocoelom. So what will be the correct answer for this question? Okay, here the correct answer is, what should be the correct answer? Correct answer is option number C here, the exclusively marine and triploblastic. Marines mean it can live in salty waters. It is found in, it lives in seawater or oceans. Clear? So what is pseudocoelom here? This is the wrong option here, pseudocoelom. So pseudocoelom means their body cavity is not surrounded by the mesoderm. Okay, so pseudo means false. So they have incomplete coelom, where the body cavity is not surrounded by the mesoderm layer. Okay. Now next question. All of the following are related to aplasia except. Okay, so you have to select an odd one out here. Clear? Question is regarding aplasia. Which of the following are related to aplasia except triploblastic, eucoelomate, then bilateral symmetrical, and then water vascular system. So what will be the correct answer here? Okay, so let's have a look at the answer here. What should be the answer here? So correct answer here is option number D, means the water vascular system. Okay. So things which are related to aplasia is triploblastic, eucoelomate, and they have a bilateral symmetry. Okay. So option number D is the correct answer here. Let's move on to the next question. Now, which set of animals belongs to the phylum, same phylum? Okay, so they've given you the name of the organisms. Which of the organisms belong to the same phylum? Okay, the first option is Hirudinaria and Lacifer. Next is Phyla and Loligo. Third one is Obelia and Euspongia. And fourth one is the Ophiuria and Salpa. So these are the scientific names. You should know about the common names also of these organisms. So what would be the correct answer here? Okay, the correct answer here will be option number B, Phyla and Loligo. So Phyla is apple snail and Loligo is squid. They belong to the phylum Mollusca. The next question, from the following list of invertebrates, how many of them are included in the largest marine phylum of the animal kingdom? So first of all, what is the largest marine phylum of the animal kingdom? Okay. Largest phylum is Arthropoda. Here they are asking about the largest marine phylum. Second largest phylum is Phylum Mollusca. But what is the largest marine phylum? So these are these they have given you these name of these organisms: starfish, sea urchin, cuttlefish, apple snail, pearl, oyster, anopheles, culex, aedes, sea cucumber, squid, devil's fish. So what will be the correct answer here? 9, 8, 10 or 5? The correct answer here will be option number D, 5. Okay. So cuttlefish, apple snail, pearl oyster, squid, and devilfish. These all belong to the phylum Mollusca. So they are 5. So answer number is 5. Then starfish, sea urchin, okay, sea cucumber. These all belong to Echinodermata. Then Anopheles, Culex, and Aedes. These belong to phylum Arthropoda. These are insects. So these are vectors also. Anopheles cause malaria, Culex cause elephantiasis, Aedes cause chikungunya. Now here the image is given to you. So examine the figures A, B, C, D in which one of the following options. Okay, in which one of the 4 options given all the items A, B, C, D are correctly identified. So you have to identify what is A, B, C, and D. You have these 4 options. You have to choose the correct answer for these options. Okay, here the correct answer is option number C is the correct answer here. Okay, so A is Adamsia, then B is Baranoglossus. So they have proboscis, they have collar, and then they have this trunk. Then C is Fasciola. Okay, and then the last one is Pleurobrachia. So this is the correct identification of A, B, C, and D. Clear? We can submit the answers now. Okay, so all our answers are correct. Okay, answer number 1, exclusively marine and triploplastics. So Antedon is the sea lily, also known as the feather lily. So this is Antedon. It is okay. Option number C is the correct answer. It is exclusively marine and triploblastic. Then the last one. Okay, second question is, okay, all of the following are related to Aplysia except the answer is water vascular system. Then you can see which sets of animals belong to same phylum. Phyla and Loligo, they belong to Phylum Mollusca. Then the answer was 5 here. So 5 members, okay, belongs to Phylum Mollusca here. Which all 5 members? Cuttlefish, apple snail, pearl oyster, squid, and devilfish. Clear? Anopheles, Culex, and Aedes. These belong to Phylum Arthropoda. Okay. So they are vector for a lot of diseases also. Anopheles cause malaria, Culex, this mosquito, this causes elephantiasis. And then Aedes mosquito, this can cause chikungunya. Then you can see starfish, sea urchin, and sea cucumber. They are echinoderms. Okay. And the last one, the answer is option number C. Clear? So this was the end of this session. I hope this session was quite knowledgeable for you. In this session, we have discussed about the 3 phylums, Phylum Mollusca, okay, Echinoderms, and Hemichordata. You should know the characteristic feature of each of them. You should know the examples. You should know the scientific name also. So you can see the questions are coming and they are giving you the scientific name of the organism. So if you don't know the scientific name, you won't be able to answer that question. So you should know the scientific name also. You should know the common name also. And obviously you should know the characteristic feature of each, you can say, phylum. So what you can do, you can make a note and you can just write the characteristic feature. Okay. Now please attempt the test which is on 24th. Okay, so on 24th you have a test. So you have to attempt that test so that we can analyze you. Okay. Clear? So that is very important. So this was the end of this session. I hope this session was quite knowledgeable for you. We'll meet you in the next session. Thank you very much for listening.